I've seen way too many owner operators get screwed over by other marketing companies, and I don't want that to happen to you. If you're looking to get a website, or maybe you've already got one, I'm about to go over a few things that you should be aware of. But if you're struggling to get your Google Maps listing verified, you have a better chance of getting that listing verified if you have a website. So this is the Google Business Profile help page. If we scroll down, it'll tell you, step one, find your business, verify your business, and that means you're going to have to do the recording and all that other good stuff. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but I'm going to create another video on how to get your Google business listing on Google Maps. I'll leave the link in the description. After you watch this, jump over there and check that video out as well. But right here, step 3, you have to wait up to 5 days to be verified. After you complete the verification steps, Google reviews the info you provided to maintain the integrity of the business profile. Verification review can take up to 5 business days. Right here, this is the important part right here. In some cases, Google verifies a profile instantly. This can happen when you verify your website with Google Search Console. Now, if you don't know what Search Console is, it's basically the key to getting your website ranked on Google. You have to have it on Search Console. I'm going to make a separate video on how to get your website on Google Search Console and start getting it ranked. I'll leave that link in the description as well. So if you're struggling to get a Google business profile, I don't know if you're running out of your home or if you actually have a location, whatever the case may be, you need to have a website. Look, I know this stuff is boring and it might seem a little advanced, but I'm not going to go into great detail on how to build a website or anything like that. I'm kind of just giving you a high-level overview so you have a general understanding of how this works. If at any point you want to wave the white flag and this is just all too overwhelming for you, reach out to me at cashthose.com. We'll get you an affordable website and this thing will be blazing fast and fully customizable. I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible. I just want to make a few points and give you a few things you should look out for when getting a website. So there's 3 basic parts to a website. You've got your domain, which is yourcompanyname.com or whatever.com, .net, .org, whatever. That's the domain. Then you have your site files, which is basically all the text and pictures and functions and buttons and all that good stuff. And then you have hosting, which is basically where your website lives. You need to have hosting in order for your website to show on the internet. That's it. It's as simple as that. So you've got your domain, you got your website files, and then you've got the host. There's hundreds of companies that sell domains. There's hundreds of companies that offer hosting. And then there's a few different ways to build your website. The most common way, and I think most of you are familiar with this, is going to Wix or Squarespace or even GoDaddy and buying the domain from them. They'll host the website, and then they also offer a platform where you can build the website. So they have the domain, the site files, and the hosting all in one spot. A lot of companies will offer a free domain, and then you'll have to pay monthly for hosting. Usually, I don't know, kind of depends on the company, but it could be $30, it could be $20, it could be $50. It really depends on the platform and what kind of features you have. It can be more expensive when you have a company email address like admin@yourcompanyname.com or something like that. This is the basic entry-level, user-friendly way of going about getting a website. The problem with this is that these sites typically won't rank in Google. It's going to be really hard to get these things SEO optimized and get you on the first page of Google. The second way to get a website, and it's a little less common, but it's a lot better than the first option. You go somewhere like namesilo.com, or I would recommend SiteGround in your case. If you don't have a website right now, I highly recommend SiteGround. I'll leave a link to SiteGround in the description, but if you go to SiteGround, they got a smoking deal for new users. For less than $36, you can get a domain and hosting for an entire year. I'm not going to get into how to set that up in this video, but if you're interested in something like that, hop over to school.com and go check out the Cash Toes page. I have a Google Ads course over there, but in that course, I show you exactly how to set up this SiteGround account, and I even have a towing template that you can use as kind of a starter build, and you can completely customize it to your company, your colors, text, whatever. Doing it this way just gives you more control over your website. You have more ownership over the domain and the build and everything. I explain exactly why it's so important to have ownership over your domain more towards the end of this video. Now, let's get to the way I like to build websites. It is a little bit more advanced, and that kind of makes it a little less common. But these days with AI, it makes it so much easier. If you want a fast, optimized site that is almost guaranteed to rank on Google, front page, this is the way you're going to want to go. I've ranked websites front page within a week using this strategy. I buy my domains from NameSilo because they're cheap and the renewals are cheap. So now I have a domain. I build my site using AI. You basically have to pick a programming language and then have AI just build it out for you. For a basic website, most likely the coding language you're going to use is HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I also use React in a lot of my sites, but that might be on a different level for you, so we're not even going to jump into all that. If I've completely lost you at this point, I completely understand, and just reach out to me at cashsales.com. We'll get you together. So I buy my domains from NameSilo. I build all the website and the files and everything and push those to GitHub. So all my files are there. And then for hosting, I use Netlify. It's really no different than SiteGround. And if you decide not to have SiteGround as your host, you can always point it to something else. Once I have all the AI-generated files pushed to GitHub, upload those to Netlify, deploy, and then I'm done. I have a fully customized website where I can send traffic to. All right, so those are basically the 3 ways to get a website. Now, I want to get into the warnings I have before you get a website. Or if you already have one, you should still definitely know this stuff. I kind of touched on this before, but a lot of these hosting companies will offer you a free domain. And then the catch is that you have to pay for hosting every month. And then that's usually just for the first year. Then after the first year is up, they typically will raise the rates on you and you'll have to pay for the domain's renewal and the monthly rate will most likely increase as well. That's the first thing you should know. The second thing, which is probably should have been the first because it's actually more important, is I don't care if you end up hooking up with CashToes or not. At the end of the day, I just want this information in front of you so you can make a logical decision for your business. Now, with that being said, make sure you buy your domain. Do not let any marketing companies purchase your domain for you. There's a ton of marketing companies out there who offer to build your site cheap. They'll buy the domain, build the website, and then host it for you. First of all, if you're buying a cheap site, 99 out of 100 times, it's not going to be SEO optimized. And on top of that, most likely they're not going to perform very well, which will prevent you from ranking on Google search engines. Then, if you ever decide to cancel, you'll end up losing your domain name because they own it, and now they're going to hold it ransom. As long as you own the domain, you'll be able to point your site to whatever host you want, and you won't be backed into a corner by some shady marketing agency. Yeah, sure, they're going to have the site files, but you can build your site and host it anywhere, as long as you own the domain. Because if they own the domain, then you're going to have to figure out a different one. And I mean, that can sometimes be difficult depending on what your domain is or what you want it to be. Okay, I hope that wasn't too crazy difficult for you. At the very least, I'm confident you're not going to go get screwed over when you're going to shop around for a website. Like I said, if you need a site and want to start out on a strong path to a successful towing or roadside business, but you're feeling a little overwhelmed with all this technical stuff, just reach out to me at cashsales.com and I'll do what I can to help. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there, guys.